I'm Raul Andrade and my wife Emma. In my youth, I was against tithing. When I see my mom that she was tithing and offering all the time, I complain, why you are giving money? We are short of money. But later, when I start my family, I understood that I see the blessings of tithing, and I start tithing, but in the wrong way. I usually tithe only that I receive a check, and I give 10% of what I receive it, and for me that was okay until like 30 years ago, talking with one pastor. I only want to ask you, where you want the blessing? You want the blessing in the gross, or you want the blessing on the net? And it's when I start telling, well, of course, I want the blessing on the net and the gross. So I start tithing on the gross. Also, I read the first time this morning in Hebrews 7 that is a command for the pastors to take the tithes from the people in the church. To tithe is a blessing for me. It's not that I'm losing. Several times I read about Malachi 3 when they say that you promise the only place that the Lord said put him on test, and he said, prove me, and he opened the windows and give you an abundance. But not only that verse, if we continue reading, he protects. I can see that really the Lord keep his promise all the time. And other verse that caught my attention was when we talk about 2 Corinthians, that the Lord loves the cheerful giver. And if I start telling you that for the last 25 years I has living tithing, I can maybe need the whole day to tell you all the blessings that I receive since I tithing. I need a hearing aid. I need to go from $3,000 to $5,000, and the Lord put an angel that give me not one set, two sets of hearing aids for free. So all the time I can see blessing and blessing and blessing. I has a struggle when I moved here to the States. I didn't know how the jobs work here. I was thinking that in Mexico you have the union, so you are in a job for the rest of your life until you want. Here, no, you work at free will. So I came to contract by the American Red Cross, and after 11 months, they let me go. They say they don't need my service anymore. So I already bring my family, I bought the house, and I don't have a job. And I say, okay, what I got to do now? And I start receiving the blessings. I see the hand of the Lord. One friend and co-worker bring us food, bring us meal, bring us a lot of the stuff that say, oh, I don't need for my kids this, and you need it. They say a food truck that was in front of our neighborhood, and call my wife and say, oh, you don't want fruits and vegetables? And every week they give a basket of goodies. And the day that I start working 1 month later, that truck disappears. He never shows anymore. Yeah. I lose my job for 4 times since I am here in the States. And the last 3 times that I lose the job in 2 years, all the time the Lord provides. All the time. I never can say, oh, there is one day that we don't have food on the table. All the time we have at least 3 times a day meals and gas for the car, money to pay the house. So I can tell you that I never, in times of suffering, I don't see any suffering for us.
And he's so faithful, and he never failed. He never failed. And he uses anybody to bless you. And you don't have to expect from people that you know that they are going to help you, because maybe they are not in the way to help you. But the only can help you is the Lord. And you have to trust in him, and you have to believe by faith that the unseen things can be real. and the Lord will be open the way for you to be triumphant on His word and into His promises. And that's a way we can live by faith. Every day when you get up and you put your feet on the ground, you just call upon the Lord and ask for faith and for His grace. And we have a loving God, we have a faithful God, and we have the more than we need from Him.
I saw with one of my children when he has his first job and he was 15 years old, he gave me his check that he received the first salary, $325. I say, Dad, I want that you give this to the church, and say, okay, so you want that I change and give the 10%? No, the whole check. I say, the whole check? I say, yes, the Bible says that the first fruit is God for the Lord. I started almost crying because I didn't do that when I was young or when I received my first payment. But my kids show me that, yeah, the Lord is faithful and give to them.
I don't like the word sacrificial giving because it's not a sacrifice. It's a sacrifice. It's a blessing to give to the church or people in need. If you see the need, you just give it. Why? Because the Lord loves a cheerful giver, a cheerful heart.
He gives you more than you really need, you know. And I remember in one of my trips to South America, you know, for Godfrey Soul Winning Conference, the first time I go with the students, they have an institute there, and I see these guys, you know, they were baking bread to support. They pay $50 for the course and all these times. And when somebody say, oh, I cannot afford, say, oh, I can pay you the whole college, you know, $50 in Argentina or something, you know. But they were sleeping in benches of wood or something like that. And I leave my clothes to them, shirts and even my underwear go to them, you know. I say, really, you can have this there? Say, oh, we wash it, don't worry. So the next year I say, why the people of God, the guys that are preparing to minister Him, they need to use clothes for me. So the next time I was preparing and I can buy new t-shirts, new pants, and I arrive to them with new pants, you know. And I find, you know, that brand new in Bolivia, you can buy shirts for $3, something like that. So I bought for them, you know, and the Lord gives you more than you expect or more than you need. And several times better than what you let it go. And I only want to say 2 points about tithing. One is that tithe from the gross, not from the net, and the other that you need to decide to be a fountain or a drain for your tithing. And I prefer to be a fountain and handle your blessings as a river. You receive it, you don't need it, let it go to somebody that is needed more. So that is what I want to say.